Things haven't exactly been going in Hamilton's favor in the past year, and now there's a possibility of him not winning a single race when the F1 Singapore Grand Prix gets underway. According to Ross Brawn, Michael Schumacher played a crucial part in Mercedes' success by giving up his personal performance, and now Hamilton seems to be following suit. In this video, we're going to talk about how Lewis Hamilton may be in a situation like Michael Schumacher. First off, is Lewis Hamilton sacrificing his performance? After his Mercedes W13 car was affected by performance concerns the entire year, Hamilton stands in danger of failing to win a single race in an F1 season for the very first time since he started his career in 2007. It brings us back to when Toto Wolff, the manager of the Mercedes team, stated that Lewis Hamilton may never fully recover from the pain of losing a record-setting 8th Formula One championship. Back in 2021 at Yas Marina, Verstappen defeated Hamilton by passing him on the final lap. He took advantage of a surprise modification to the safety car procedure that enabled racing to continue, robbing Hamilton's world championship on the race's final lap. Wolff was sure that Mercedes could have prevailed in court, but he believed that there was a difference between right and attaining justice, and so none of them went to Paris to collect the trophy so as to maintain their loyalty towards Lewis. So it's really understandable why he must have lost his morale now. Lewis is obviously feeling demotivated considering how he lost his past few races due to unjust reasons. Next up, let's talk about how Michael Schumacher was in a similar situation. Back in 2010, after coming back from retirement for 3 years, the 40-year-old German driver's return was revealed by Mercedes. The last season he played, Schumacher had intended to make a brief return with Ferrari to replace the injured Felipe Massa, but he had to cancel that owing to a neck injury sustained in a motorcycle accident. The deal brought Ross Brawn, a British technical director who worked with Michael Schumacher to win all of his titles and became the team principal, and the German, who left Ferrari in 2006, back together. He was supposed to race together with Nico Rosberg in the 2010 season and receive 7 million euros. Not just this, the race was also going to complete the circle in Schumacher's career, as the German raced for the Mercedes sports car team before debuting in Formula One with Jordan in 1991. The Italian team stated that there's been no formal agreement between them and the German regarding his employment as a consultant for Ferrari since his retirement. Former champions Nigel Mansell and Damon Hill, who competed against Schumacher in the 1990s, both believed that the German driver could win again despite his old age. But they were wrong in many ways. He was unable to add to his 7 championships since he went 3 seasons without a victory. Later, in 2013, following a skiing accident, Michael Schumacher was left in a coma, and since then, his family has taken steps to keep him hidden from the public. Moving on, what does Ross Brawn have to say about all this? Lewis is in the twilight of his career, claims Ross Brawn, who worked with Schumacher at Benetton, Ferrari, and Mercedes. During an interview with F1 Insider, he stated that Lewis Hamilton is currently going through a very similar position, but it still isn't over. He's had a car he can't win with this year, and he puts a lot of effort in trying to fix it. He added that this time is a morality test for him, and that George Russell, another member of his team, might be more competitive in the races as a result. He also didn't fail to mention how we can see some parallels between Lewis's predicament and Michael's return to Mercedes. Drivers are constantly faced with the choice of whether they want to contribute to the problem or the solution, and back then, Michael reconfigured his position so that he could contribute to the solution and help form the group that would go on to win 8 straight Constructors' Championships. He even laid the groundwork for success by sacrificing himself in a sense for the team's future. But Braun strongly believes that Lewis will return. Speaking from his own personal experience, he added that going through such weak times and overcoming them only helps you come back stronger, and we certainly hope that such is the situation for Hamilton as well. Back when Michael succeeded at Ferrari in 2000, they nearly lost 3 world championships before that, and those 3 years were challenging. Everyone expected the group to disband in frustration. However, the opposite happened, and they came back a million times stronger. Lastly, is Singapore Lewis Hamilton's last chance of saving his F1 record. The Hungaroring and Zandvoort, which are not street circuits, but have features in common with Singapore's Marina Bay track, where teams are compelled to use strong downforce aero packages, have seen Mercedes' best performance in recent months. At Monza, Toto Wolff mentioned that even though it says it should be one of our better tracks in the simulation, he's still making an effort to be cautious with any projections. Russell, on the other hand, didn't seem as upbeat. According to him, Singapore isn't a bad option for their car on paper, but when looking back at the street circuits of Monaco and Azerbaijan, their car doesn't do so well over the bumps, so he's still unsure of how things will turn out but they're continuously working on bettering the vehicle. At the Hungarian Grand Prix, the former Williams driver dominated to claim pole, while Hamilton displayed race-winning speed on the actual race day at Zandvoort. Mercedes' abilities to get the tires into the proper window during qualifying has been proven to be one of their biggest weaknesses. The high track temperatures should present Mercedes with no problems, in theory. Singapore has historically been a poor point for Mercedes, but if porpoising doesn't reappear, it might be their best and final chance to win in 2022. Now moving on to other news. First off, Lewis Hamilton escapes a penalty for wearing a nose stud. The Mercedes team was fined €25,000 for submitting a scrutineering document that claimed Hamilton was not wearing jewelry. Thankfully, no further punishment has been taken against Lewis Hamilton for donning a nose stud on the Singapore Grand Prix qualifying day. After qualifying, Hamilton stated that he was wearing his nose stud because removing it during earlier races had caused an infection. The only reason he wore it was because the doctors had advised him to keep it in place to prevent the infection from recurring. Despite accepting Hamilton's explanation, the stewards at the Singapore Grand Prix fined Mercedes for approving a form that stated that the driver complied with the regulation not to wear jewelry in the form of body piercing. The stewards noticed Hamilton had been taking off the nose stud at earlier races, so Mercedes was not aware he was using it. Up next, we have Haas messaging Lewis Hamilton about replacing Mick Schumacher. According to Hans-Joachim Stuck, Haas has been warned to give Mick Schumacher a new deal since they won't get a Lewis Hamilton. The former F1 driver called it incomprehensible that team owner Gunther Steiner has not extended a new contract to the young German. Stuck stated that he doesn't understand why no one has signed him yet. Steiner's best option would be Mick, because he won't be able to find a driver like Lewis Hamilton. Schumacher may be entering his final 6 F1 races after falling short of Steiner's expectations for a new contract. The 23-year-old had a difficult start to the season due to severe collisions in Monaco and Saudi Arabia. Steiner retaliated against the teenager for causing the team damage worth millions of pounds as a result. However, Schumacher's back-to-back points finishes in Canada and Great Britain in the middle of the season helped him turn things around. Magnussen has lost to him 11 times this season, but he still trails him in the championship. And finally, Lewis Hamilton favors year-round education of Black History Month. The 7-time Formula One world champion, who was knighted in 2021, is recognized as a Black History Month hero for both his efforts to advance racial equality and his athletic accomplishments. Throughout his impressive career, Hamilton has advocated for a variety of issues. He supported LGBTQ+ rights by donning a flag on his helmet and has urged other drivers to take a knee before races. In order to address the disproportionately high number of school exclusions among Black pupils in the UK, Hamilton established the non-profit organization Mission 44 in 2021, aiming to create a more equitable educational system, empower more young people from marginalized communities, and encourage advancement into important industries and professions. Mission 44 is a project on which Sky and Hamilton have partnered. Before Black History Month officially began on Saturday, the 37-year-old met down with Naomi Schiff, a fellow racing driver and Sky Sports F1 analyst. When informed of his status as a Black History Month hero, he said that it was the first time he's heard something like that, and he believes that everyone should be a part of it, not just in a month, but every month, and he's definitely not wrong about that. That's a wrap for this video. How do you feel after finding out that Lewis Hamilton might be following the exact footsteps of Michael Schumacher? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.